Hi YouTube, it's Alan Sugano. I'm the president of ADS Consulting Group, and today's topic is about what is zero trust and why is it important? That's a good question. So basically, zero trust means that nothing is trusted by default. Everybody is a suspect until proven otherwise. And I don't care how many times you've authenticated in the past, you always have to reprove who you say you are, reprove your identity. So I have a diagram here. I'll put it up in the corner over here. Maybe I'll scoot over a little bit. It's a pretty good zero trust diagram. So just going over some of the things in here on the left side of the diagram over here, it says assume that you've just already been breached. Oh, did I say B? Assume there's already been a security incident. Never use the B word because evidently from a legal standpoint, the B word is an admission of guilt. So always assume there's been a security incident. So, hey, who are you? Hey, do you have the proper credentials to prove you say who you are? What device are you coming from? Where are you coming from? Are you coming from inside the country, outside the country? Have there been any EDR, MDR alerts on your remote device? Has there been any stolen credentials, perhaps? Have we done a dark web scan? Have your creds been compromised? Which is why you want to have multi-factor authentication on everything. In case your credentials are stolen, you have a fighting chance of protecting against that. So again, in the center circle here, you have to always verify your identity, check your device, where you're coming from. Is your behavior normal? Are you accessing the things you normally access, or did you freak out and suddenly try to access the HR and payroll and financial information folder, even though you have no business accessing that stuff? Part of the process of identifying your identity is multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication, or MFA, is one of the best ways to protect your identity. And in today, we say, sorry, usernames and passwords are not good enough anymore. The nice thing about MFA is that you basically are effectively changing your password every time you log in. And I know it's a little bit of pain, and Duo, we use Duo, we like Duo. It pops up and, hey, is this you? And you just have to tap. You don't even have to put in a code. It's nice because it's a little bit less evasive than putting in a code. The other thing that's really nice is if you're working, and you get a pop-up, oh, hey, did you try to log in? You didn't try to log in. Then instantly somebody has your username and password, and you should treat that as a fraudulent attempt, and then that triggers a bunch of alarm bells. And by the way, if that happens, please change your username and password immediately. Also, least privilege access. So what that means is that you should have enough rights to do your job, and that's it. No more additional privileges. So, that means no administrator rights usually, just enough to do your job and nothing more. So in other words, if you don't need access to the HR folder to do your job, guess what? You should have access to the HR folder, right? And that goes for anything. The other thing, historically, right, some of the most damaging access has been from internal users. So you don't want to allow everyone to have access to everything. That's a recipe for disaster. So, also microsegmentation. Microsegmentation, what that does is it will place servers and workstations in different subnets and VLANs. And then we typically use a firewall to control inter-VLAN or inter-segment traffic. And the reason why that is it can help control lateral movement. Microsegmentation takes that even to the next level, where you can actually segment individual computers and put them in their own segments as well. That's usually only practical with network virtualization or software-defined networking, but that could also be a really good, effective way of if you suspect that something's been compromised, you can throw that workstation or server into its own segment and isolate it and leave it isolated until you prove otherwise that it hasn't been infected and hasn't been compromised. So segmentation is a great way to control lateral movement in your company. And obviously continuous monitoring. So just because your computers are okay today doesn't mean they're going to be okay in the next minute. literally. So you always want to be monitoring, what's going on, checking internal traffic flows, seeing if anybody's suddenly hey, can you be my friend, and try to bust out of their segmented silo, or has behavior that the computer has potentially been compromised. So that you can see zero trust is kind of an ecosystem at the end of the day, right? So you want to make sure that you have a comprehensive strategy to address zero trust. So anyway, hopefully you found this content helpful. If you like the content, please boink at the subscribe button, boink at the like button. It does help out the channel. If you need help implementing zero trust, we'd love to help you out. You can send an email to info@adscon.com. Thanks a lot for listening. Stay safe out there. Make sure you implement zero trust, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.